Hello there everyone, how you doing today? I hope you're all well. Today we're going into r/entitled people, where someone's ex demands someone for child support for a kid that is not his, and his mother and sister are on the ex's side. We've got some other stories along with it, but the majority of it is this story and the updates with it. If you enjoyed, like and subscribe, leave a comment down below, and all that wonderful stuff. Now, without further ado, let's get started, shall we? My ex demanded me for child support for a kid that is not mine. My mother and sister are on their side. Some years ago, I dated a girl. The relationship was bad. She was very controlling and abusive. It ended up really bad and we broke up. I kept going on with my life, and some years later, I got a decent job, enough to solve all my needs, have a comfortable life, and make some savings. The thing is, a couple of months after getting my job, my ex contacted me. First, she asked to talk. I believe that she may want to reconnect or something, but she showed up with a 5-year-old child, claiming he was my son, and demanding for child support. I didn't believe her, but the child age matched the time since we cut contact. I got advice from a lawyer, a friend of mine, to solve all this in court. I offered to take responsibility, pay all the costs, and being an active part of the child's life, only after taking a DNA test. Everyone was okay with this except for my ex. She acted offended and demanded to just give me the money I deserve. She used all the excuses she could, even contacted my family and told them I was trying to avoid taking responsibility of her child. When she ran out of excuses and the DNA test was made, surprise! I'm not the father. She was so mad with the results and cried about the money, saying it was unfair and she deserved it. But she didn't accomplish anything. Moving on to last week, there was a little party on my parents' house. My brother, a friend, and I were talking, and my brother started a joke about the situation with my ex. My friend and I started to joke about it too. Some of our comments were a little dark and bad, but we were far from the rest of the people, literally on the opposite side of the house, and nobody else could hear us. At least that's what we thought. We were laughing when my sister appeared very angry and pushed me against the wall. She spied on us and heard our conversation, and she was really mad. She started to yell at us about how horrible people we were for mocking a poor woman. A few hours later, when the party ended, she asked me to go to the kitchen with our parents, and she started to say how awful I was for the previous situation. Apparently, my ex had been in contact with her, and she believed her version, and that was her way to have an intervention. My brother and I were like, "Are you serious?" When she started to say how I forced my ex into being a single mother, and that I have a moral obligation to help her. My dad only said that we might have been too cruel making jokes of her, but I wasn't responsible for the kid. My mom then surprised all of us when she said, "Even if the kid's not yours, you're making more than enough money to support that child. You should have helped her." Since then, I've been receiving texts. My dad and brother are on my side, saying I'm not responsible for her, but my sister is telling me how horrible I am for ruining their lives. My mom only said, "It's your decision and I respect it." I'm just very disappointed that it ended up being so selfish. I'm aware she doesn't deserve my money, and I'm not planning on giving her any, but the constant harassment of my sister trying to guilt me is just exhausting. But wait, we have some updates. Update 1. It's been a while. After my last post, I read all the comments and decided to show them to my mother. We had a talk about the situation. Again, she started on my ex's side, but after reading the post and all the comments and opinions, she realized she was wrong. I think the thing that hurt her the most was all the doubts about if she cheated on my dad and I wasn't his son, and if that was the reason he was on her side. We had a very long conversation. She told me that she believed my ex because she was always so nice and kind with her. that she decided to not believe me when I told her all the things she did to me during the relationship, because a good girl like her could never do something like that, so I must be lying. After that, she apologized to me. We're good now. On the other side, my sister. At first, she decided she wouldn't talk to me until I take responsibility, but after some days, I talked with her. She is totally on her side, even after showing her everything. She said, "None of that matters because a woman's word goes first, and that's all the proof anyone could need." Also, she said that even if you're not the biological father, you still have an effective responsibility with her, so you must be man enough to take charge of them and start acting like a real man. She was a lost cause. About my ex, I did some research and found out that shortly after we broke up, she started dating another guy. Or maybe she was cheating on him with me before. I don't know. They broke some weeks later, and she had multiple dates until she found out she was pregnant. I also found out that she'd been trying to find a father to her kid for the last 2 years, and I was next on the list, but it looks like she's desperate now, because she was never that aggressive with anyone else before. Now, the reason of the post. Some days ago, my ex and sister came to my workplace. They made a big sign with my face that says, "He abandoned his child," and "irresponsible father," and started drama, saying all their BS. Their intention was to shame me and use the social pressure to force me into taking charge of them. They literally said it. Not to not make the story too long, they were taken out of the place. I got in trouble for that scandal even after showing all the proof and legal documents that showed they were lying. I was told that this better not happen again or I'll be fired. After that, I contacted my friend, the lawyer, and we're now redacting a very long and detailed paper against them, my ex and sister. They went too far. Now I'm going against them with everything. Maybe that'll scare them enough to leave me alone. But wait, there's another update. Update 2. Hi everyone, sorry for the lack of news. The last weeks have been crazy with a lot of stuff. But now I think is a good moment to update you all. First of all, I'm not allowed to talk a lot about the lawsuit. The most I can share with you is that my ex was extremely freaked out when she knew about it. She's now begging me to drop it. She offered to take back everything she said, to never bother or ever contact me again. She even tried to guilt me, saying that I'd be ruining her and her son's life. But honestly, I don't care. I got tired of being the good guy a long time ago. She messed with me, now I'm fighting back. And as for my sister, the lawsuit at first only made her worse, as her attempt to shame me in my job didn't work. As good as she wanted, she moved to social media, spreading her BS about me abandoning my child or not taking responsibility, and exposing my illegal actions like acts of censorship and misogyny. But at the end, that'll be the worst for her, not only because I can dismiss her defamation easily, but also it's more evidence to our favor. Anyways, this is going to be a long road and we're just beginning. Recently, we had a posada at my parents' home. Every year, we use this as an excuse to make a big family party before Christmas. I had my doubts because I didn't want to be near my sister, but after some relatives assured me that she wouldn't be there, I decided to go. Big mistake, she was there. My mom decided that, despite everything that happened, I was taking all of this too far, so she wanted all of us to meet to solve this problem as a family. I tried to get out of there the moment I realized what she intended, but some relatives tried to stop me while my mom cried out that I needed to stop, that I was tearing apart the family, and needed to learn to forgive and let go. I realized that despite everything, even knowing that I'm telling the truth, she was still on my sister's side. I got out of there, saying to her that I'm not attending any family event again if she is there, and to not try thinking of trying this BS again. At this point, almost all my family knows what she did. Some of them must think my sister is crazy, some others think she's crazy, but I'm taking it too far. A couple days ago, Mom invited me to spend Christmas with them. I didn't want to go after what she did, but I decided to give her a chance after she swore that it wouldn't happen again. But not only should she plan to do it again, my brother warned me this time that she intended to lock me in until I forgive my sister and stop this nonsense. I called my mom and told her I knew what was she was doing with her and my sister, to not talk to me until she realized she supported the wrong person, and to apologize. I don't need to say how many times she tried to call me the following hours, and all the drama she made when I didn't show up for Christmas, but again, I'm very tired of being the good guy. So that's it for the moment. Hope all of you had a nice Christmas, and I wish you a happy and drama-free New Year. But wait! There's more! One more update. Let's get into it. Update 3. Hi to all of you that are still here. It's been a while, more than a year, and I think now is a good time to give an update about everything that happened with my life during the last year. Lots of things happened, and lots of things had changed. First of all, the lawsuit. To be short, I won. We didn't go into trial, it all got solved in reconciliation meetings. My lawyer's strategy was to add all the things we could think of, from the harassment to the defamation, to the attempts to put my job at risk, parental fraud, everything. The idea was to scare the crap out of them, and if that didn't work, there'd be lots of charges against my ex and partner. My sister kept calling it a bluff and kept posting her BS on social media. The thing is, she regrets that now, as every single word she posted against me came back to bite her ass when it was used as proof. My ex took back everything she said, asked for my forgiveness after seeing she would lose a lot, so she ended up accepting to compensate the damages off court, and left my sister alone in a battle she started. When my sister realized how bad things really were, and that she was alone now, and she will lose, she freaked out, deleted every single post she made, tried to pretend she never did what she did, but at that point we had backups, screenshots, and all the recordings we needed. On the last reconciliation meeting, she broke down crying, begging me to forgive her and to not make her do this. But she did this to herself. She had multiple chances to stop but kept pushing, and ended up facing the consequences of her own stupidity. She had to pay me a good amount, plus all the legal costs. My mother helped her to pay, obviously, but she now has considerable debt, as my dad demanded her to pay them back over time. For a few months, she resented me for what I did, but we ended up talking and getting back on good terms. Our relationship is damaged but healing. She confessed that at the beginning she felt like she was fighting for a good reason, for a cause she believed in, to defend a poor woman in need. She believed she was doing the right thing, so she was sure she had to win at the end. Those ideas were supported by her friends, as she said those girls were encouraging her to fight and make me fulfill my obligations. That she was fighting in the name of other women, and those ideas kept on her mind until things got too real when she saw there was no way she would win. And then all those girls disappeared. My ex left her alone. All the ones who gave her support wished her luck and went away, so she had no choice but to surrender. So that's how things ended with them. And for the ones who suspected, my sister and my ex weren't in a relationship. I don't know where my ex is, and I don't care. She paid and disappeared, and I hope to never see her again. Some people told me I went too far with her. Someone even called me a monster for ruining a single mother already in trouble. And some said I'm not loyal to my family for taking it this far, instead of solving it inside the family. And at this point, I don't really care anymore. And as for my mother, for the months the reconciliation meetings lasted, my mom was on my sister's side. Multiple times she tried to convince me to stop, from asking me to just let it go, to trying to guilt me for everything she could think of. She even threatened to disown me and said she would not see me as a son anymore, to separate me from the family. But at the end, she couldn't, and was, and still is, resented. For all those months, and after it was over, I kept asking myself why she does this. Why she just kept treating me like this, being on everyone else's side except mine. After reading multiple people saying to do this, I finally got to do this. The DNA test. After talking about it with my brother and dad, we all agreed it was too rare my mom acted like this. And because everything my mom said and implied, my dad had more and more doubts. To the point he was sure of this she did something. After some beers, a very hard talk and some tears, and that the promise, no matter what the results say, to me and my bro, he will always be our dad. Did the DNA test. Both of us are his sons. My dad was relieved, but then very embarrassed for having doubts of his wife's loyalty. He felt very ashamed, so we ended up agreeing, apologizing to her for what we did. As I started the talk of the DNA test, I asked to be the first on the talk and apologize with her. That night, all of us gathered at my dad's house. We sat around the table, and I started by recognizing all the fights and tension we had over the months, and apologizing for it because, after all, she is my mother. But her behavior made me wonder and have lots of doubts about what it's like living like this. So I suggested all of us had a DNA test. Right after saying that, my mom was livid, and half a second later, her face went red, got up from her chair, and threw stuff at me, pulled my hair, scratching me, hitting me, screaming,
"Why did you do this? I hate you. You had no right."
My father and my brother separated her from me, and she immediately started to ask for forgiveness from my dad. My dad was surprised and furious when he told her that I was about to apologize to her, because the results said we were his sons. Her face was a mix of fear and desperation, and her reaction told us everything. I never saw my dad so angry. She confessed that long ago she had an affair for a long time, until she got pregnant with me. She never knew if she got pregnant by my dad or the lover, as they rarely used condoms, and she multiple times let him finish inside. All these years she had doubts about who was my real father, and she pretended to take this secret to the grave. But now that she exposed herself, and now it all made sense. That was the reason she treated me like this. That's why she always put everyone else's words before me. Dad threw her away that night, and in very little time, all the family knew about it. We warned them in case she tried to say any lies, that we had no right to say anything, that she is our mother and we can't say anything against her. And so for the aftermath, to conclude this craziness, I won a good amount of money. My brother is still my best friend. My relationship with my sister is damaged, but healing. And she's separated from her toxic and misandric friends. My ex is gone, I hope for forever this time. Dad is hurt, mom is revealed to be a cheater, but they're not divorcing. She is back at my dad's house, but hasn't forgiven her. And for what he said, he never will. But don't want to get through a divorce or give her anything he had worked for. On his words, they're married, but they're not a couple. And she now is trying to earn my dad's forgiveness. Of course, my mom now openly hates me because to her, I'm the cause of all of her problems. In her words,
"If you had just done what I said and took charge of that kid, none of this would have happened. I hope you're happy now."
and that's it. Sorry for the text wall. I hope you all had a good 2023, and I also wish you a good 2024. I'll keep working, saving, and trying to build a life away from this madness. And I'll probably cut contact with my mom, but I really don't care at this point anymore. And that's the end of that story and that whole mess. Remember to like and subscribe if you're enjoying these stories. Now let's get on to the next one, shall we? Entitled Sister Demands a Free Custom Wedding Dress. Some of you may remember my other post about how my sister wanted me to risk losing my job and house to attend her destination wedding. I was thinking about her today, and this story came to mind. I guess this will probably also fit in with the Choosing Beggars sub. My sister has a history of being a cheapskate, and would manipulate and take advantage of people to get her way. She was also verbally and emotionally abusive, particularly towards our mom. We're all in no contact with her now. This was a few years ago, but when my sister was getting married, she did some dress shopping and quickly realized it can be expensive. While the bride's parents usually help cover wedding costs, ours were unable to afford that. She knew how my mom had saved her wedding dress, so my sister asked if she could have it. Nothing wrong with that, and my mom had saved for that exact reason. The dress was dated, so she requested if she could save parts of the dress to use in the creation of a custom dress. Again, I don't see anything wrong with that personally. However, instead of taking this up with a professional seamstress, my sister asked Mom to make the dress for her. Our mom's very adept at sewing, but not a professional, and doesn't have professional equipment. Mom immediately declined because she knew this would be a huge undertaking and outside of her wheelhouse because she has issues with chronic back pain and wrist injuries. What started as a request soon turned into pestering. My mom kept saying no and repeated her reasons. True to character, the pestering turned into begging, and begging turned into emotional manipulation. She started saying things like,
"It's so meaningful to me to have a piece of your wedding dress, but it would mean so much more to have you make this as a full dress for me." Or, "I just really want you to make it because some random seamstress doesn't care about me or this dress at all." And, "I know you have better attention to the detail than anyone else and you would do a much better job. I can't imagine anyone else doing this. I just want to have a piece of you with me always."
And this was hilariously transparent because my sister has never been sentimental and has never treated our mom with any care or affection unless she wants something. I kept trying to tell Mom that my sister just wanted a free dress, but after a lifetime of abuse and manipulation, Mom felt like she truly didn't have a choice and was being forced to do it. Of course, my sister made Mom pay for all the materials, and of course she picked the type of materials that had to be sewn by hand, because her sewing machine wouldn't work on this. She wanted custom embroidery and beading too. Parts of the dress were so thick and stiff, but that it really killed Mom's hands and wrists to be doing this. Throughout the process, Mom kept complaining to my sister about how excruciatingly painful this was, and kept asking her to take it to a seamstress, but my sister kept demanding Mom do it. I think she put in over 60 hours into the dress. The dress was beautiful. My sister thanked my mom by refusing to pay for her to come to her wedding. Our parents aren't well off, so they couldn't afford it on their own. And she didn't even apologize or recognize how much physical pain Mom was in either. What the fuck? Anyway, that's the end of today's video. I will see you all next time. Remember to interact with the video or else nobody will see this. Anyway, I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.